Part I unfolds with a sudden, violent awakening that shakes the mighty starship Uns Resolute, throwing its crew into chaos as the first alarm roars through its metal halls. Captain Alina Ward rushes to the bridge, her boots pounding across the floor while alarms scream and red lights pulse like a frantic heartbeat. Officers shout warnings, trying to make sense of the disaster shown on the main screen, a star system being destroyed in real time. Planets crack apart, moons shatter, and the very sun itself spits rivers of burning fire as if screaming its last breath. Alina feels the shock settle deep in her chest because she knows exactly who is responsible. The Jurex Dominion, a cruel and ancient alien empire with cold eyes and iron hearts, has returned. Years ago, they tried to conquer Earth and nearly wiped out humanity, but humans survived thanks to the gentle Oral, floating beings of light who risked everything to hide human fleets when hope felt lost. Humanity carried that memory like a sacred promise. The Jurex carried their humiliation like a wound that never healed. Now they have come back, but not with simple ships or soldiers. This time they have grown monstrous war beasts, each the size of a battleship, armored in boiling metal, with eyes burning like small stars. Their fleet fills the screen ranks upon ranks of warships stretching so far they look like a metal storm swallowing the sky. Admiral Ria's command echoes through every speaker, ordering all human ships to hold the line, protect civilians, and buy precious time. Yet every officer, from the youngest cadet to the oldest veteran, understands what is coming. Humanity is outnumbered. Humanity is outgunned. Humanity is standing on the edge of defeat. The Z-Hayrax don't simply want Earth, they want revenge. The bridge trembles again as new data floods in thousands of enemy ships, countless war beasts, weapons burning hotter than anything humans have seen before. But even with fear pressing down on them like a heavy weight, the crew stands ready. Humanity has survived extinction before. They have stood in the fire, cried in the dust, and risen stronger each time. Alina watches the burning star system and feels the truth settle in her bones. The war is no longer coming. It has already begun. And every soul on the ship understands one thing: the fate of worlds will be decided by what humanity does next. Part 2 begins with a quiet, almost fragile moment inside the storm of war, as Captain Alina Ward turns to see Lure, the Oral envoy, drifting toward her. Lure's glowing tendrils shine softly in the dim light of the bridge, creating a gentle contrast to the chaos outside the ship. The Oral are peaceful beings, shaped like floating jellyfish made of light, and their presence always brings a sense of calm, even when fear presses against every wall of the ship. Lure speaks in a soft voice, but the weight of their words is heavy. The Jurex have not only attacked humanity again, they have also destroyed the Oral worlds. For a moment, Alina feels her chest tighten, remembering how the Oral once risked their own lives to save humans during the first invasion. When Earth was burning, when humanity was frightened and scattered, the Oral hid human fleets in their nebula cities, protecting people they barely knew. Humanity had never forgotten that act of kindness. Now Lure stands before her, offering help in return. The Oral remember too. They always did. Lure explains that the ZHREX have built a terrible weapon deep inside the dead Starforge of Vornix, a place where a collapsed star sleeps in a metal cage of ancient machinery. The weapon is called the Mindbreaker device, a machine that can crush the minds of entire species at once, turning free beings into obedient slaves. Lure's voice trembles as they speak about it, for even the peaceful Oral understand the horror such a machine could bring. Alina listens with growing dread and forces herself to ask the question she already fears the answer to: how long until the weapon is ready? The answer hits like a punch: 20 hours. Barely enough time to prepare, let alone to fight. Outside the windows, the stars seem cold and distant, as if the universe itself is holding its breath. Alina looks around at her crew, seeing tired faces and worried eyes, people who have fought too many wars and lost too many friends. Yet she also sees strength in them, a fierce spark that refuses to die. Humans might be afraid, but they never stop fighting. That is their nature. Alina lifts her head, her voice firm as she promises that they will stop the weapon, no matter the cost. She says it not for herself, but for her crew, for the Oral, for every living being who would suffer if humanity fails. Her determination steadies everyone around her. Lure glows brighter, touched by the courage in her voice. The Oral envoy tells her that both species share something powerful, a memory of kindness and a memory of pain. The Z-Churex remember their past defeat and seek vengeance, but the Oral remember the protection humanity gave them, and now they will return the favor. In that moment, the bond between the two species feels deeper than any treaty or alliance. It is built on gratitude, trust, and shared scars. The bridge hums with new energy as Alina orders her ship to set course for Vornix. The journey ahead is dangerous, perhaps hopeless, but there is no hesitation. Humanity has made a promise, and they always keep their promises. As the Resolute jumps into hyperspace and the stars streak into bright lines, a silent understanding passes between human and Oral alike. Whatever happens next will shape the future of the galaxy, and together they will face it. Part 3 opens with the sudden roar of engines and the burst of light as the human fleet jumps out of hyperspace near the dead star forge of Vornix. A massive ancient ring surrounding a collapsed blue dwarf that glows like a wounded heart in the darkness. The air on the bridge turns heavy as everyone stares at the sight before them. The Dominion fleet waits like a steel wall around the forge, lines tight and perfect. Thousands of ships shining with cold, blue fire. Mixed in their formation are towering war beasts, living weapons made of molten armor and grinding metal, their eyes burning with unnatural light. It is a scene meant to crush hope before the battle even begins. Captain Alina Ward stands at the front of the bridge, jaw tight, fingers curled into fists. She knows the odds. She knows that humanity is outnumbered and surrounded. Yet she also knows there is no turning back. The Mindbreaker device is close to completion, and if the Dominion activates it, all free beings across the galaxy will fall to their knees. The comms crackle, and the voice of the Z-Herex War Master, Raxel, fills the ship with a deep growling tone that echoes like metal grinding against stone. He mocks humanity, calling them small and weak, saying their stubbornness entertains him but cannot change destiny. His words hang in the tense silence of the bridge like poison, but Alina does not let them linger. She answers with fire in her voice, telling him that destiny can burn. The moment she finishes speaking, the darkness explodes into war. Lasers, shells, and beams of sizzling blue lightning split the black void. Human cruisers fire their rail cannons, sending glowing projectiles across space. Fighter wings swarm like angry insects, weaving between giant enemy vessels. Oral ships, shaped like glowing petals, cast energy webs that cling to enemy hulls and tear through the metal. The Dominion strikes back with brutal precision. War beasts charge through the chaos, ripping ships apart with claws sharp enough to slice through shields and armor. Their warships release swarms of drones that cut through human fighters like blades. Explosions flash everywhere, each one a bright flower of fire in the dark. The Resolute shakes again and again as hits land across its hull. Officers shout warnings, reports piling up faster than they can speak, shields failing, fighters lost, breaches forming on lower decks. Still, Alina refuses to retreat. She orders more power to the cannons, instructs the engineering crew to reroute coolant, commands the pilots to push forward through the burning battlefield. Her voice steadies the crew, even as sweat drips down their faces and fear claws at their hearts. The tactical screen blazes red as enemy ships close in from all sides, but Alina focuses only on the target that matters, the path to the Starforge core. If they can reach it, there might be a chance. If they fall here, everything ends. She orders the ship forward, closer to the forge's deadly gravity field, closer to the heart of the enemy formation. Her officers hesitate for a moment, knowing the danger, knowing the ship may not survive. But Alina repeats her command with the strength of someone who has already accepted the price of this mission. Humanity stands here, and the ship surges ahead. The battle behind them continues to rage, filling the darkness with smoke and light. Every explosion feels like a heartbeat. Every scream from the comms feels like a memory they cannot let fade. Alina watches the forge grow larger in the screen, like a giant mouth ready to swallow them whole. She knows the hardest part of the fight is still ahead. But she also knows that humanity has faced the impossible before, and they have always found a way to rise. Part 4 begins with Captain Alina Ward leading her Marine team deep into the ancient Starforge, the air around them shaking with every distant explosion as the battle rages outside. The halls are long, twisted tunnels of black metal glowing with eerie blue veins, like the forge itself is alive and watching them. Dominion drones crawl on the walls and ceilings like mechanical spiders, their red eyes blinking with cold hunger. The Marines move quietly but quickly, firing short bursts that echo sharply in the cramped space, clearing the way forward as sparks shower across their armor. Alina keeps her rifle steady, her heart pounding with every step. She knows the mindbreaker device is near. She can feel a strange pressure in the air, as if the machine is breathing. The closer they get, the heavier the air feels, like walking through invisible water. When they reach the central chamber, the sight freezes everyone in place. The mindbreaker device stands like a monstrous heart of metal and light, pulsing with a rhythm that feels wrong, twisting the air around it. A ring of Dominion engineers chants in deep, guttural tones, sending waves of energy into the machine. Shadows rise from the device, drifting like smoke but moving with purpose, brushing against the Marines' minds and sending shivers down their spines. Before the team can advance, a large figure steps out from behind the machine. It is Raxel, the ZHREX War Master, towering over everyone in the room. His armor glows with molten cracks, his eyes shine like burning amber, and his long plasma halberd hums with deadly heat. He stares at Alina with a look of cruel amusement. His voice fills the chamber, accusing humans of running, of hiding, of clinging to weak dreams like mercy and hope. Alina's grip tightens on her rifle. She has heard these words before from countless enemies. Humans have always been underestimated, always called fragile. Yet they survive. She fires first, the shot slamming into Raxel's side, but his armor barely cracks. He charges with terrifying speed, swinging the halberd and melting a chunk of the metal floor. The Marines scatter as the duel between Alina and Raxel begins, each clash sending sparks across the chamber. Alina moves with everything she has, rolling, dodging, firing again and again into weak points of his armor. But Raxel is too strong. He grabs her by the throat and lifts her off the ground, slamming her against the wall so hard her vision blurs. Pain explodes across her ribs, and she struggles to breathe as he mocks her, asking who will repay humanity's debts when humans are nothing but dust under his boots. Just as her strength begins to fade, a wave of glowing light fills the chamber. Lure and the surviving oral choir drift in, their soft, luminous bodies weaving threads of protective energy through the air. Their voices sing in a strange, beautiful harmony, forming a shimmering barrier between Raxel and the Marines. They remind him of the favor humanity once gave them, of the lives saved long ago, of the promise the oral made to always return kindness. Their presence distracts Raxhole for a brief, precious moment. Elena uses it. She pulls a plasma charge from her belt, ignites it, and rams it into the cracked opening of Raxhole's chest armor. Her voice is barely above a whisper, but it carries the weight of every life lost to the Dominion. She tells him the debt is paid. Then she fires. The explosion tears through Raxhole's body, shaking the entire chamber as the War Master falls, his burning eyes finally darkening. The Marines steady themselves, the aural glow dimming slightly from the effort. Alina forces herself to her feet, bruised, breathless, but unbroken. The Mindbreaker device pulses faster now, unstable and ready to collapse. She knows the hardest choice is coming, and the fate of countless lives rests on what they do next. Part 5 continues with a sense of growing danger as the Mindbreaker device, wounded by the battle inside the chamber, begins to spin out of control. The metal walls tremble as bright cracks of energy spread across the machine, flashing like lightning trapped inside a metal cage. Captain Alina Ward feels the heat rising, the air growing heavy. And she knows the truth before anyone speaks. The device is going to explode, and when it does, the entire Starforge and the collapsed star at its heart will erupt with enough force to tear apart everything in the system. A Marine shouts the warning aloud, confirming her fear, but there is no time for panic. Alina has always understood the cost of war, and now she sees clearly that their mission has reached its final, painful point. She opens a comm channel to the fleet, her voice steady even as the floor shakes under her feet. She tells Admiral Rias that the device is unstable and the forge is moments away from destruction. There is only one choice left. The fleet must retreat immediately, or they will all die in the blast. The silence that follows is heavy, almost heartbreaking, as the Admiral realizes what she means. Alina and her team will not be able to escape. There isn't enough time. Rhea's voice comes through at last, full of sorrow and pride, promising that humanity will remember her name. Alina turns off the channel before her emotions can crack. She cannot afford hesitation, not now. The Marines look to her, shaken but loyal, waiting for her command. Lure and the remaining oral choir drift closer, their soft glow trembling like candlelight in a storm. Despite their exhaustion, they offer their strength freely. The orals speak with quiet certainty, reminding her that humanity saved them once in their darkest hour, and now they will stand with her until the end. Their courage gives her a final surge of determination. Together, they gather every explosive charge they have left, plasma cells, detonators, thermal grenades, and throw them into the open wounds of the unstable machine. The Mindbreaker device roars like a furious beast, the chamber filling with brilliant, painful light. Alina feels a strange calm settling over her, knowing they are doing the one thing that matters, stopping the Dominion from enslaving the galaxy. Outside, the retreating human ships watch from a distance as the forge begins to crack apart. The Dominion fleet, still disorganized and broken by the earlier battle, tries to flee, but many of their ships are too close, trapped in the forge's gravity. Light bursts through every seam of the great structure. Then the explosion arrives. It is not a simple blast, but a storm made of fire, gravity, and broken starlight. The force rips through the forge, tearing metal rings into molten fragments that spin into the void. A tidal wave of energy sweeps across the battlefield, shredding Dominion ships and scattering their war beasts into dust. Human ships shake under the shockwave but survive, carried away by their retreating momentum. Inside the heart of the forge, Alina feels herself being lifted, weightless and warm, as the light grows brighter than any sun. Lure floats beside her, their glow fading but peaceful. The oral whisper a gentle message, every favor remembered, every kindness returned. Alina's voice is soft as she answers that kindness always echoes longer than vengeance. Her last thoughts are not of fear, but of hope, of Earth, of the people she fought for. Then the light takes them, and the forge collapses into brilliant silence. Part V unfolds in the quiet days after the great battle, when the fires of war have faded but the weight of loss still hangs across human space like a silent shadow. News spreads quickly through every colony, station, and outpost. The Dominion fleet is destroyed, the Mindbreaker device is gone, and the Starforge of Vornix has collapsed into nothing but drifting sparks of metal. Victory belongs to humanity and their Oral allies. Yet the triumph feels bittersweet because Captain Alina Ward, the Marines who stood with her, and the gentle Oral choir did not return. Across human worlds, people gather around screens and public plazas to hear the official broadcasts, their faces filled with both pride and sorrow. The story of what happened inside the forge becomes a message passed from one voice to another. How Alina led the final charge, how the Oral stood beside her, how their combined courage stopped a weapon capable of breaking entire species. Children listen wide-eyed. Veterans bow their heads. Leaders speak in soft tones, reminding everyone that freedom often demands great sacrifice. In time, the Oral create a memorial unlike anything seen before. They choose a calm moon around a peaceful star, a place far from war and darkness. There, they build a field of glowing crystals that rise from the ground like tall, clear flowers. Each crystal holds a light inside it, gently pulsing like a heartbeat. Every pulse represents a life lost in the battle, a soul remembered forever. At the center of the field floats a single hollow sphere of shimmering blue flame, suspended in the air with no wires or devices. It burns without heat, without smoke, a symbol of the bond between humanity and the Oral. Beneath the sphere, carved into a smooth slab of silver stone, is an inscription that many visitors stop to read slowly. Some with tears in their eyes, for those who stood when the stars burned, for every kindness remembered, for every sacrifice that saved us all. Families visit the memorial to lay small offerings, handwritten notes, flowers from distant worlds, or simple stones carried across light years. Children touch the glowing crystals and watch them brighten softly in response, as if acknowledging the warmth of their tiny hands. Some people come seeking comfort. Others come seeking inspiration. All leave with a deeper understanding of what it means to protect something greater than oneself. In the weeks that follow, the broken Dominion scatters into the outer void, its surviving ships aimless without leadership. No empire rises to take their place. No species dares to challenge humanity. Not out of fear alone, but out of respect earned through courage and sacrifice. Human scientists begin planning new missions to rebuild the systems harmed by the war. Explorers prepare ships to travel deeper into unknown regions, carrying not only tools and supplies but also memories of those who fought at Vornix. The story of Alina Ward becomes part of human history, taught in schools and repeated around firelight on frontier worlds. People speak her name with pride. Artists paint her last stand. Musicians compose songs about the moment she chose to protect the galaxy at the cost of her own life. And the Oral, in their gentle voices, continue to tell their young about the brave species called humans creatures, who may be small in body but hold vast strength in their hearts. In the end, the galaxy learns a powerful truth carved into the fabric of the stars. Humans do not forget kindness, and they do not forget those who try to break them. When humanity rises, they rise together, with loyalty stronger than fear and hope brighter than any star. Their courage echoes across worlds, across time, across every corner of the cosmos, a reminder that even in the darkest moments, light endures when brave hearts stand firm.